Andrew Leung is a China strategist. He joins me now from Hong Kong. Andrew, good to have you with us. So we've just heard Joshua Wong there saying that this measure to formally withdraw the extradition bill isn't going to be enough for protesters. So what are you expecting now?
Well, in fact, apart from the extradition bill, the groundswell of anger and dissatisfaction has been ignited, have been aroused in demand for more democracy, more freedom. But then what the protesters are asking for in terms of universal suffrage is nothing less than allowing the people of Hong Kong to freely choose their leader. However, one country, two system is a paradox because there are safeguards for the one country. Of course, the one country is not a democratic regime, and the two systems. And under the Hong Kong's constitution, the basic law, the safeguards for the one country would ensure that any candidates would be pre-screened so as to prevent the election of someone as chief executive who can turn out to be a separatist. So herein lies the paradox, and there is no way that Beijing can give in to unraveling the basic law. In fact, that's what the joint declaration between Britain and China did not include any provisions for universal suffrage. It was only at Beijing's initiative to include this in the basic law, in the constitution.
Right, so presumably Beijing has given Carrie Lam the go-ahead to withdraw the extradition bill that started this all off, but it's not going to go for wide-scale political reform, which is what the protesters are demanding. So just how far do you think Beijing is prepared to go to try and quell the unrest that's gripped Hong Kong for the last 13 weeks?
Well, in fact, the full statement made by Carrie Lam just now, of course, it cannot be shown in full on television here. But then she also announced concrete steps to quell this kind of public anger and dissatisfaction by addressing some sort of deep-seated problems, for example, inequality, lack of upward mobility for the young people, housing, and all that, and appointing or reaching out to the community and the leaders of the community to join and work together to address these issues.
Andrew, do you think there is now an impression that Hong Kong and China have badly handled this whole affair right from the beginning when this extradition bill was introduced? And are people acknowledging that things should have been handled differently?
Oh, absolutely. There is no doubt about that. Not only the people acknowledge this, even Carrie Lam herself admitted she actually made a terrible mistake in misjudging the degree of public anger, and then the deep-seated problems, deep-seated dissatisfaction, which can be ignited by such a thing. There's no doubt about that. But having said that, though, these are long-term problems, housing, inequalities, and even universal suffrage. Let's not forget that during the umbrella movement, or before the umbrella movement, a package for universal suffrage was a kind of handled or proposed by the government, but it was turned down because it was not good enough for the Democrats. And what the Democrats at that time was asking for, as I was just saying just now, is no less than unraveling the safeguards for the one country under the joint declaration, under the basic law. So I think that this is lies a bit of contradiction. But having said that, there's still a lot of leeway between the two extremes. I think that Beijing would be amenable to some sort of a proposal allowing for a wider bandwidth, for example, of candidates which are unlikely to be separatists, which can be acceptable to Beijing without triggering the fear of separatism.
Andrew, thank you. Andrew Leung in Hong Kong there.